Hello, Technologycrazy here, and today is actually my 17th birthday, and it's also Canada Day, so in celebration of that, I've been asked lots of times to do a Draw My Life video, and I've always avoided it. But I thought it's about time, and it makes a good birthday video, so I'm going to be reflecting on the last 17 years of my life. I'm going to try to summarize it into a few minutes, hopefully. It all started 17 years ago on July 1st, 1996. I was born to Steve and Marianne Kropp, and my dad's an electronic engineer and my mom is an elementary school teacher. And I don't really remember much about the first few years of my life, but I do know that near the time of my birth, my dad brought home a little kitty that he found in a parking lot by his work. And he was really against having pets, cats, dogs, or anything, but he came really attached to the cat, and we named him Charlie. And a few years later, we found out that he was actually a she, and we had a whole bunch of kittens running around, which we had to give away, unfortunately. When I was little, one of my biggest sources of entertainment was the alarm clock. My parents would sit me in front of it, and I would spend hours pressing all the buttons and setting the alarms and doing this and that. But 2 years later, my parents had my sister Selena, and they tried the same alarm clock trick on her. But she decided that she was way more interested in just peeling off the stickers and eating them, which really shows you the difference between me and my sister, but despite all that, we've always got along. I started off my school life in kindergarten on September 11th, 2001, which also happens to be the day that 9/11 occurred. Growing up, I always had my mom at school because she was a teacher there, and in fact, I actually had her as my grade 3 teacher. People often ask me if it was weird, but I never really thought about it because I called her Mrs. Kropp from day one, just like everyone else, and she treated me just like any other student. My sister is the crazy, energetic one, and I'm more of the talkative, more cautious person, but somehow I was always the one that got hurt. I probably need both my hands to count all the times that I've seriously hurt myself or almost died, and the one I remember the most is probably when I was 5 years old. At my old house, my dad had built us this tree fort slash tool shed in our backyard, and it was a 2-story fort. The shed was on the bottom and the fort was on the top, and attached to this fort was this slide, and the whole neighborhood knew this slide because this slide was crazy fast. I'm pretty sure that we actually got the wrong size slide because it was too short and we actually had to put it more on an angle than it was supposed to go. So this thing was crazy fast. In fact, you had to sprint at the bottom if you didn't want to wipe out, or in my case, I would always stick my hands on the side of the slide to slow myself down as I went down it. Anyways, one day the slide was dirty and I decided it was up to me to clean it. So I went and grabbed a broom from our shed and I climbed up into our fort. Now, my brilliant idea was just to go down the slide with the broom, and that would be the easiest way to clean it. But unfortunately, my hands were occupied with my braking strategy, so I decided, where else am I going to stick this broom? And then I thought, of course, I can just stick it in my mouth. That's perfect. So my plan was to go down the slide with the broom in my mouth, and I would be cleaning it, or so I thought. Unfortunately, friction took place, and my hands got really hot, and I let go, and I shot down the slide, and unfortunately, the broomstick hit the ground before my body did, and it went right up into my throat and impaled me-ish. And there was a lot of blood, and I was rushed to the hospital. Anyways, my life continued, and my family decided it was time to move after grade 3. So we moved 10 minutes away, right next to a new school, and I started my grade 4 year there. And it was my first time moving, and I took it really bad. And it actually turns out that the day after we moved, my cat died. So with everything going on, I decided that I was going to run away, and I started running down the street, and I didn't get very far because my dad caught up to me and he took me home. But I still remember being very upset and locking myself into the bathroom for days and being angry at my parents because I really didn't want to move. But after a few weeks, I met my best friend, whose name is Noah, and I remember having sleepovers and lip singing to Lady Gaga on video and filming it, and I still don't know why we did that. We thought it was the coolest thing. We did it pretty much at every single sleepover. And he's the guy that introduced me to YouTube, and we actually made an account, but it would be many years before I actually created my own channel. My teachers started to show a concern about my reading ability / spelling ability and pretty much everything except for math ability, and my mom agreed. So I was put into learning assistance, and I found out that I had some form of ADD. I got tested and everything, but it's really weird, so I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, I remember I have this really weird learning assistance teacher, and she was really mean. She kind of looked like a witch. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. I don't mean to be insulting, but she looked really scary, actually. Anyway, she made me practice this stupidly easy math every single day, like pages of it. And I was really good at math, so I did it really fast, and then she thought I was cheating and all this stuff, and I was probably fooling around a lot. I remember just messing around because she'd leave the room, and then I would just, I don't even remember, I would mess around a lot. Anyway, she told my parents I had anger management problems, and then she disappeared. I don't even know what happened to her. She just left the school one day. So, yeah. Grade 4 was also the year that my grandma or Oma passed away, and it was really sad for me and my family, but a few years later, my Opa actually remarried, and suddenly I had a whole bunch of new cousins. Going through elementary was pretty hard for me because I remember being one of the very few white kids in my grade, and I remember asking if I could play soccer and them saying no, and I was always the kid that got picked last and I was slow and all that stuff. Yeah, but anyways, in grade 6 and 7 I discovered my passion for public speaking, and one of my biggest supporters was my Opa, or Grandpa as most people call it, and I ended up doing a speech on his life during World War II, and I ended up winning first place, and I consider myself to be very lucky to have him as a supporter and all that stuff. So yeah. Anyways, in the middle of all this, I decided to quit playing soccer. I had played goalie and defense most of my life, but I didn't really enjoy it anymore because there was too much pressure and stuff. So I quit. But I still love playing soccer and all that stuff with my friends. Life went on and I finished grade 7 and I was left with a choice of where do I want to go next. I wanted to go to the high school with all my friends, but a week before school started I found out that I actually couldn't go there. So I had to decide if I wanted to go to Frankfurt or private school. So literally last minute I decided I wanted to go to private school, and it was definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made. Both the high school and the middle school have grade 8, so they were separate. So basically the new kids went to the high school grade 8 and all the normal middle school kids went to the grade 8. At the middle school. So we were separate. This meant that my grade 8 class was only 13 kids, and it was definitely the best year of my life. We were all so close. We went on trips together. It was definitely some of my fondest memories. Grade 8 was also the year I started YouTube, and I saw people getting hundreds of thousands of views on simple videos, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So I created Technologycrazy, and that was also the same year I became a YouTube partner, and it was a really amazing thing. I really can't stress enough how much I appreciate your guys' support throughout the good and the bad. It's been really encouraging to wake up every morning and be able to read your guys' comments, and YouTube is something that made me unique, and I am still very proud of it. Grade 9 was a really weird year for me because all the middle school kids joined us at the high school, and they had all been friends since kindergarten, and they didn't really want to make any new friends, so it quickly separated us into our group and their group. Anyways, grade 9 was also the year I met my best friends Adrian, James, and later on Chris and Yosef, and which you have met in my video, and I could have not asked for better friends. They're really great and everything. I also finished my grade 8 piano that year, and it was a big thing for me because I had been practicing since I was 4 years old, and it really opened up a lot of time for me. Now, somewhere in the middle of grade 9, I started to tell people about my YouTube, and people thought it was really cool. So I was quickly known for being the tech guy that everyone was calling upon when some tech thing went wrong in class. But I was quickly annoyed, and I still am like super annoyed by the stereotypical geek things because people always thought I was hacking something, even if I was like in Word. They would come up and be like, "Oh, what are you hacking?" and all that stuff, and I'm like, "I'm in Microsoft Word, are you serious?" Somewhere along the line, my band teacher asked me if I wanted to join the sound team, and it was a great opportunity. It wasn't something new for me because I'd been running sound at our church for a couple of years already, and it was a pretty amazing opportunity. My friend Adrian also joined, and we soon became the head sound guys of the school. Halfway through grade 10, one of my teachers came up to me and it's like, I've seen your YouTube stuff, it's pretty cool, you should join this tech class. And I was a little hesitant at first because it was for grade 11 and 12s, and I was only in grade 10, but my parents convinced me and I joined the class. It was taught by our network administrator and met every Wednesday, and it was definitely one of my very favorite classes of all time. The teacher was this really cool, relaxed dude, and we had a ton of fun. He kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot about network administrator stuff, and he soon granted me administrator access over the school, and it was really cool to be trusted that much, and it made me feel really special. In the summer I worked with him preparing laptops for the kids next year, and we even developed some programs and wired some stuff, and it was a ton of fun. In grade 11, it was a pretty relaxed year. It's the year I just finished. I became way more involved in the school, becoming the head sound guy as well as the tech support guy, training the new sound guys, also doing worship and sound at church. In school, everyone seemed to mature a lot. In middle school group and our group they do get along now. Everyone's matured quite a bit. To me, it's really important to have this friend group that is focused around being friends and having fun without the drama part. And I'm super thankful that I have that today, and I want to give an extra shout out to all my friends out there that have just been so great. And here I am, 17 today. Not really sure what the future will hold or look like, but thank you guys so much for being with me through the good and the bad. Extra shout out to all my friends who have been amazing friends over the years, and Alec, who I've almost killed myself several times with. And tomorrow I'm starting an internship at this tech company, so wish me good luck. Anyways, I guess that concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a comment below. And I guess that's all from Technology Crazy. Goodbye.